Deputy Head of Mission Tom Gleekin, British Council Country Director Tom Miscosha, representatives from the Colombian National Ministry of Education, school rectors and university rectors, Cambridge International Examinations Director for the Americas, Richard Gilby, ladies, gentlemen, colleagues and friends. It is with great pleasure that I take the stage, or I suppose to be more specific, take the screen, to reflect for a moment on my experiences as an international educator, teacher trainer and educational business development manager, and at the same time reflect on the importance, high profile and value of Cambridge International qualifications. Having graduated from the University of London with a degree in modern languages and Latin American history, I began my career in Colombia as an English teacher at the Universidad Externado de Colombia. In 2002, I became director of the English department at the university. Over the years, my work as a teacher and then as a member of the university entrance interview panel put me into contact with a huge number of students from a wide variety of educational backgrounds. And especially when interviewing students, the difference between those who had studied an international curriculum and those that had not was striking. I distinctly remember the first time that I interviewed a student who had recently graduated from an international curriculum school in Bogotá. He really was a cut above the rest in terms of the depth of his knowledge and his ability to express, develop, justify and defend his points of view. Upon speaking to him at length later, it became evident that he was by no means a naturally gifted interviewee. He wasn't either a naturally gifted student, but a combination of hard work and access to an educational system that had helped him to develop higher order thinking skills and that had inspired him to investigate to greater depth than perhaps required by other institutions, had helped him to develop skills that made him stand out from the crowd, both during his entrance exam and during his time at the university. Later, I moved from educational management into publishing and worked for a number of years as academic development manager for Latin America at Pearson. In this role, I visited hundreds of schools and universities across the continent and interacted with quite literally thousands of educators and students. This gave me a very broad perspective of the strengths, weaknesses and needs in all sectors of education in Latin America. At first, a common desire amongst the institutions that I supported and the teachers that I trained was to improve students' level of English language. Then, as time went on and English levels indeed improved, institutions began to express a need to introduce other skills into the curriculum. Often, the former went hand in hand with the latter. It seems that the English language curriculum lends itself to innovation more than other subjects, perhaps due to the position of English as the global language of information exchange. And consequently, English language teaching materials are often the first to include new methodologies and strategies in the day-to-day curriculum. So in many institutions, English class started becoming an island of progress and innovation in a sea of rather more traditional classroom instruction. Not that this is a bad thing, of course. Progress is positive, regardless of its effective limitations within the situations that I'm referring to. My point is that as more and more institutions began to incorporate ever better levels of English language instruction into their curricula, and then as the English language teaching materials that they used began to include ever more complex approaches and activities designed to help students become better thinkers, it became necessary for the very best schools to incorporate even higher level activities and ensure the development of more complex skills, not just in English class, but in all other subjects as well. This created a huge challenge, as to do this means finding teachers capable of incorporating these skills into their teaching. But these are skills that, to put it quite bluntly, many of them were never taught themselves because they were not part of the curriculum when they were at school or university. And this is why I sincerely believe that a Cambridge International Examinations curriculum, as run and supported by the British Council in Colombia, provides institutions with an effective and accessible way of doing this. By following the well-set-out curriculum, with ample training and support, teachers are able to introduce new methodologies and skills into their classrooms in a safe and secure environment for them, their students, and the institution itself. The way that the IGCSE curriculum is structured and the pre, during and post-implementation support that the British Council offers institutions that choose this approach enables educators to learn and develop new skills alongside their students, raises standards across the board, and clearly differentiates students from CIE schools when compared to students from other schools. And of course, the household names and impeccable track record in international education of Cambridge exams and the British Council are the icing on the cake. Talking about innovative, high-quality international education, not many people know this, but the British Council has been running a bilingual, bicultural school in Madrid since 1940. Students at the British Council School Madrid study for their IGCSE exams alongside preparation for the Spanish PAU University entrance exam, and they excel at both. In fact, just last year, the school became the very first in Spain to receive the British Schools Overseas Inspection rating of Outstanding, the highest rating available. And the BSO noted that, and I quote, "The school offers an outstanding education for all students and promotes a strong sense of belonging. Teachers and students work together to turn dreams and aspirations into reality." The British Council School Madrid has educated future government ministers, captains of industry, and leaders in many areas of Spanish society, culture, and business. And much of its current success is down to the way that the IGCSE curriculum prepares students to face the challenges of the modern world. Closer to home, I think that the results and the reputation of the Colombian schools represented by the rectors and other academic staff here with us this evening are a testament to the quality of education one can achieve when combining some of the best prepared educators in Colombia with the best international curriculum available today. To conclude, I'd like to share an anecdote with you from a meeting I had just this morning in Santiago de Chile with Rashid Benamar, headmaster of the Grange School. The Grange is one of Santiago's top private bilingual schools and is a pioneer in the application of Cambridge International Examinations in Chile, and is also one of just a handful of schools, in fact, I believe one of just 2 schools in Latin America to have implemented successfully an A-level curriculum in the last 2 years of high school. When I asked Rashid whether Chilean universities had begun to recognize IGCSEs and A-levels for university entrance, his response was that although they know what the exams are and hold them in the highest regard, most universities still tend to place more importance on the Chilean PSU university entrance exam. However, he went on to say that when the students graduate from university, having IGCSE and A-level qualifications, as well as a degree, most certainly does differentiate them in an ever more competitive employment market. And Chilean business leaders report preferring students with CIE qualifications over those without, even where they have similar scores in their degree programs. Rashid went on to say that an even greater benefit is that when applying for postgraduate programs abroad, students with CIE qualifications have a much higher rate of acceptance at the world's top universities than those that do not. I think you will agree that the education and employment opportunities enjoyed by students of the Grange School in Santiago are experiences that have been and will continue to be shared by students of all the Colombian schools present here this evening, thanks to the support of Cambridge International Examinations and the British Council. I would like to end by commending the schools present this evening for their forward thinking in implementing a curriculum that has generated incredible benefits for their students, and that I sincerely believe will help ensure Colombia's continued development as a regional leader and as a centre of excellence. And I hope that following this evening's celebration, we continue to add new members to this dynamic and progressive educational community. Thank you very much.